Our social media channels. Whether you're a small mom and pop restaurant, a car dealership, or a professional practitioner, we invite you to join in this new KBLA Talk 1580 initiative to promote your business. As a Black-owned small business, you don't want to miss this unique opportunity to gain new customers on KBLA Talk 1580. For more information, contact us today at smb@kbla1580.com. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
And if I share with you my story, would you share your shadow with me? Time to get paid.
Wild Wild West. The Wild Wild West. The Wild Wild West. The Wild Wild West.
I used to live downtown, 129th Street, Convent. Everything's upbeat, parties, ball in the park, nothing but girls after dark. We chill, nobody gets ill in the place. We call the hill, but if you try 'em, that's when they will get wild. But they don't fight, they kill. That's the Wild Wild West.
The Wild Wild West.
That is indeed
The Wild Wild West.
the subject and the frame for this hour, the Wild Wild West. As promised in this hour, 2 conversations. On the B side of this hour, you will meet the woman revitalizing the world's only touring black rodeo, the CEO and producer of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo, Valeria Howard Cunningham, as our guest. On the B side of this hour, a brilliant, powerful, amazing sister. You will meet her on the back side of this hour. But we start this hour in conversation with photojournalist Ivan McClellan about his new photo book, 8 Seconds, Black Rodeo Culture. Ivan, congrats on the book. Good to have you on the program today, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for the time.
It's good to have you on, and let's make the most of the time that we have. I often, my producers know this, I tend to pass on conversations on radio about photo books. And I pass for the obvious reason. It's rodeo. It's radio. I was gonna say rodeo. It is rodeo. It's rodeo on radio, and it's hard to visualize for the listening audience what a particular photo looks like on radio. So I tend to pass on having conversations about photo books, no matter how much I like them. But I agreed to do this one because I wanted to spend this hour talking about black cowboy culture. There's been so much over the last few months that has put the cowboy culture out front. Say nothing of Beyonce and her brilliant album. But there's been so much talk about this. I thought we'd spend an hour going right to the source and talking to someone who's done a book about black rodeo culture. And then again, as I said, to talk to Valeria Howard Cunningham on the backside of this hour as a woman who's running the world's only touring black rodeo. So we'll do that again in this hour. But I tend not to do photo books, but I wanted to have you on because, excuse me, one, yours is pretty amazing. And number two, I think we can have a conversation, at least for 30 minutes anyway, about why it was important for you to spend the time doing this book. So let me start with that question. Why this subject matter? Why did you look through your lens and see this as a story that you wanted to tell through your photos?
Well, I sure do appreciate you recognizing the importance of the book and making the time to talk about this on the show. It is difficult to really catch the wave just through the words. But when I came into this culture, I kind of grew up around it in Kansas City, but it wasn't anything that I spent a lot of time doing. We would ride horses sometimes after church, and we would take grandma would let us go in our church clothes and ride ponies at Benjamin Ranch. Coming from church, there were people in the field behind our house. We had 5 acres behind our house. And there were people in the field behind our house that had cows, black folks that had cows, black folks that had chickens. Well, that was kind of as far as I went with it. It wasn't until 2015 that I was talking to a filmmaker named Charles Perry, and he said that he was doing a documentary about black cowboys. And I was confused because I was I had always associated a cowboy with a white man. You know, I had always thought a cowboy was John Wayne or what I had seen on Bonanza or Gunsmoke reruns growing up. But he said, you got to see it for yourself. It's pretty amazing. And I went with him to a little town called Okmulgee, Oklahoma.
Say that town again, the name of the town?
Okmulgee, Oklahoma.
Okmulgee, Oklahoma. I like that. Okmulgee, Oklahoma. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Yeah. So it's a little town. Every year they have a rodeo called the Roy LeBlanc Invitational. It just happened this weekend, and I went down there and I saw thousands of black folks on horses. There were young men riding horses with no shirt on, gold chains and basketball shorts. There were women riding the barrels with long braids blowing behind them and acrylic nails clutching the reins. There were, traditional cowboys in shirts so starched they crunched when they moved their arms, and they had on pinky rings and they had on sharp Stetsons. And I just, as a photographer, it was an incredible, vivid, Technicolor Oz-like experience for me. And I just had such a good time shooting that rodeo. I kept going back and found a lot of joy to find that a lot of the folks there were from Kansas City, where I'm from. Some of them lived on the other side of that 5-acre field from where I grew up. And it was this redefining moment of my hometown away from, this place that I thought was very urban, this place that I, thought was how I grew up, kind of poor, a little bit rough, to a place where cowboys are, this place of independence and grit and all of these things that I had seen in movies and on TV about cowboys were associated with my culture now.
The book is called 8 Seconds, Black Rodeo Culture. The author of that book is our guest right now. His name is Ivan McClellan. Just getting started in conversation with him. And then on the B side of this hour, we'll talk again with the woman who's revitalizing the world's only touring black rodeo, the CEO and producer of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo, Valeria Howard Cunningham. Both our guests this hour on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Ooh, I'm so ready for this weekend away with my girls.
Hey, hit the road? How about some free gas?
Free gas? How?
Try new Febreze car for some serious freshness and you can win gas for a full year. Visit Febreze.com to learn more.
Say less.
You may not win, but you're gonna have a fresh smelling whip.
Thanks, DJ Fresh. Now how about some music?
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to new Febreze car for giving you a chance to win free gas.
La, 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter N73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Ivan McClellan. His book, his new photo book, is called 8 Seconds: Black Rodeo Culture. I think I get it. why the book is called 8 Seconds, but for those who might not get it, Ivan, why 8 Seconds: Black Rodeo Culture?
So 8 seconds is how long you have to ride a bull or a bronco to get a qualifying score.
Mm-hmm.
So in that interval of time, which isn't much unless you're on a raging, mad 2,000-pound animal, a person can live, a person can die, a person can be injured, a person can get paid, a person cannot get paid, and just the stakes that are at risk during 8 seconds are so high, and the livelihoods of these people really depend on riding for that amount of time. So I just thought it was a great name for the project. It spoke to the immediacy and the urgency to document and tell these stories for me, and it really resonated with the people in the Western culture to call it 8 seconds.
So most folk who I talk to, my ending aim is to get inside their head. I'm always trying to get inside the heads of my guests. You're a little bit different. I want to get inside your eye. I want to get inside your pupil.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
I am. You see where I'm going here. Obviously, I want to know when you're shooting Black rodeo culture, what you are seeing. So let me get inside your eye, your pupil, and tell me what you are seeing that makes it worth shooting.
It's just a delightful, colorful, energetic tableau of culture. There's a little bit of fringe on people's shirts. There's fringe on the chaps and leather textures. There's the color of the dirt and people's hands in the dirt, and just this connection with the environment that's really, really exciting and engaging in a way that you don't really see on the normal day to day. There are cowboy hats, that just cover the eyes, and you can see the rest of the face, but there's a little bit of mystery beneath that shadow. Sometimes when you're wearing a straw hat, light pours through the holes in the hat, and you can see little light refractions on the face. I've been shooting it for 10 years now, and I still find new stuff that's engaging and new stuff that attracts my eye. Just the transformation of these Black folks. There's an amazing thing about a Black body in motion. You can ride a horse, but a Black man on a horse is a different thing. The way they lean, the way that they hold their hand on the reins, just the energy and the swagger and the vibe of these Black athletes and these Black women when they ride horses. The strength and the power that you see is incredibly compelling. I'm honestly not great at shooting sports. That's my secret. It's funny because I'm a sports photographer for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do is I really focus on the preparation before the events. I focus on the athletes getting ready, them focusing. I focus on the celebration after they ride. And then I do my best to get a photo of these people riding 40 miles per hour on horses during the events.
Mm-hmm. You refer to these rodeo riders, these Black cowboys, as Black athletes. Indeed, they are. But that jumped out at me because we don't tend to think of them necessarily as athletes. Obviously, the Olympics just ended in Paris, and there's always this great debate about certain competitions that are in the Olympics that people make jokes about. How did that become an Olympic sport? How did that become an Olympic competition? And now they've added breaking, or they did this time. They added breaking, and there's been great debate about that. The question is why you refer to these rodeo riders, these cowboys, as Black athletes, Ivan.
Yeah, they're incredibly strong, incredibly powerful, incredibly skilled. Just the technique and the reps that you have to get in to compete at these sports at a high level is remarkable. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's absolutely a stunning feat to do these things with your body and to do them in complete collaboration with an animal is a whole nother level. And I respect them as athletes. I really got into the culture looking at what was the separation between athletes that were competing in big white rodeos and athletes that were competing in these Black rodeos. And it was not talent. It was not ability. It was not skill. And you were seeing a lot of black athletes not being able to get up and compete for the big money that you were seeing at white rodeos. And so, I really went beyond the photography and started to look at sponsorship and started to look at connecting these athletes with the money that they needed to get down the road, because I just have so much respect for the athleticism that they bring to the sport.
Since you went there, I want to follow you again. Let me talk about sponsorship. I've had a number of occasions over the course of my career to talk to black race car drivers, and one of the things about that really fascinates me beyond the obvious, the speed and the danger and the fear, that always fascinates me, of course. But what really fascinates me is how these black race car drivers in a world that is predominantly white, overwhelmingly white, find sponsorship. That's the race car world. The same is true, obviously, of these black cowboys in rodeo culture, which is why I'm anxious to talk to Valeria Howard Cunningham on the backside of this hour as the sister CEO and producer of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. That can't be an easy sell, per se, but I want to talk to her about that, but she's making it work. I raise all that to ask what you learned in your work about how these black cowboys get sponsored to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, the work that Valeria Howard Cunningham is doing is remarkable, and she's going directly at this issue of equity in these worlds. They just announced a big deal with the Bay Good Foundation, and I couldn't be more proud of what they're doing to support these athletes. To compete as a cowboy is incredibly expensive. To compete professionally, you've got to have a trailer, truck, horses that are good. You've got to have feed. You've got to have hotels, rodeo fees. To compete, I've heard athletes say to compete for a full season of rodeo, you've got to have $100,000 in cash. Mm-hmm. And the only way to fund that is either through a rich ranching family or through sponsorship. And a lot of these athletes aren't finding sponsorship. It's rare that you see these black athletes with a lot of patches on their vest or a lot of patches on their shirts. A lot of the bull riders are riding in a vest with not a single sponsor on there, and they're really eager to get that support so that they can afford to compete at the level that they know that they can thrive at. A lot of the sponsorship come from Western brands, and frankly, the Western brands have done a poor job at embracing black athletes. There are a few who do really, really well. There are some calf ropers, black calf ropers who do really well in this world. Shad Money Mayfield, Corey Solomon, who got his start in the Bill Pickett Rodeo, John Douch. They're bringing in a lot of revenue and a lot of sponsorship in that sport. But when you see other sports, bull riding, barrel racing, steer wrestling, the black athletes are few and far between at the top levels of the sport. So that's something that I really hope to, as long as I have a voice and as long as I have influence in this space, to change and to transform, because I really believe in the talent and the athleticism of these athletes, and I just think all they need is opportunity.
I want to ask you a question that has two parts to it. I tend not to ask two-part questions. I really should say this question has two sides, and I don't often do this, but I want to do it here and get out of your way, because I think there may be links between that you want to draw, that is, between both sides of this question. So the question I want to ask is, for an African-American athlete, for a black athlete, what is the draw, what is the joy in being an athlete in this space? Like, why would a brother want to get on a bull and risk his life? Why would a brother? So what is the draw? What is the joy for a black athlete to be in these spaces, number one? And the other question, which, again, you may want to connect, is what is the draw? What is the joy for a black audience? For anyone who's never gone to, anybody black, that is, who's never gone to Bill Pickett or any other sort of rodeo that features black cowboys riding wild animals, et cetera, what is the draw and what is the joy for them? So two questions. What about the black athlete and what about the black audience? What's the joy? What's the draw? Take it away, Ivan McClellan.
Yeah, so this is a question this is the first question that I ever asked anybody when I showed up at a rodeo, not knowing anything, being completely out of space, and I came up to a bull rider and I said, "How did you get into this?" And he just stared at me so blank. And he was just like, "What do you mean? How did I get into this?" And I kept asking people, "How did you get into this? How did you get into this?" And I soon came to realize it's not a thing that you get into. It's a thing that you inherit. You know, for a lot of these athletes, they come from generations of people that worked in these spaces, and it's just something that's in them from the start. You know, a lot of these horse riders were riding horses by the time they were 2 years old. There are some people that got into it. There's a cowboy named Kamal Miller out of Los Angeles, and you know, he grew up in Culver City, and really good bull rider, runs a horse riding program called Urban Saddles, and you know, he didn't necessarily grow up in this culture, but it's just something that once he saw it, he couldn't get it out of his head. You know, once he actually had the bravery to get on top of a bull, there was nothing else that he wanted to do with his life. It was just an absolute moment of joy that he's been chasing for years ever since. So it's just a certain breed of people. There's just something that God puts in some folks, and some people he just makes a bull rider every once in a while, and that's all that they can do. That's all that they want to do, and that's where they find the most joy in their life. For the audience, you know, we do our own rodeo now. We got the 8 Seconds rodeo that we do up here in Portland. For the audience, you know, especially up here, there's just a massive amount of curiosity about this world. I think a lot of these folks, black folks in particular, don't feel comfortable at these white rodeos. It's not a space going out into rural America that they feel comfortable. And so the black rodeo creates a space of comfort. It creates a space of inclusivity, a space of safety that they can go and explore this world and see it. And it's dynamic. It's universally great for anybody that comes into these spaces, but it's just a matter of like removing barriers so that people can come and enjoy it. Rodeo is an extension of agriculture, and everybody eats. And so when you see these animals and you see these cowboys, it's just something almost tribal that every culture really resonates with. Mexicans rodeo, Native Americans rodeo, black folks rodeo, white folks rodeo. It's in my opinion the most American thing that you can do. And so creating a space where people can come and enjoy it is really important.
And to your point about the audience, when I first went to a race car event, again, I'd interviewed a number of black drivers, but had never actually gone to a race car event. When I went, I wanted to understand what it is about sitting in the stands, watching a car go fast in circles, would interest people. Because that's what I saw. I see this stuff on television. And let me be clear. I am from Indiana, home of the Indianapolis 500. And so I've had many opportunities in my life to go to the Indianapolis 500. But growing up in Indiana, honestly, I was just never interested in going to a stadium, sitting in the stands, watching a car go 135 miles an hour, you know, in a bunch of circles. I just didn't interest me. When you go to the race, the euphoria that you feel. For that matter, I felt the same way about horse racing until I went to the Kentucky Derby. When you go to the Kentucky Derby, good Lord, and you experience it, you understand why people come to the Kentucky Derby. So I had that same experience when I went to the racetrack. For those, again, who've never been to a black rodeo, give me some sense of what you're photographing these people, you're talking to these people, you're interviewing these people. When you talk to folk who come to a rodeo, black people now, for the very first time, and they experience, again, that euphoria, they see and they feel what they've been missing all this time. What are some of the things you hear, what relative to their takeaways about the experience?
Yeah, it's a full day, full body experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hot outside, so you go and get yourself some lemonade. Lemonade is an art form. You know, the lemonade, getting the sweetness right, and putting a little bit of watermelon in there, and or blue raspberry or whatever. These just like the flavor, the sweetness. Just getting something to cool you off is really important. There's smoked turkey legs that have been cooking for days. You know, if the turkey's not falling off the bone, it's not quite done. There's barbecue. There's fried chicken. there's so many tastes and smells that are culturally specific and enjoyable, and that you really can only get in these spaces that are really, really exciting. And then you go into the arena. Obviously, there's the smells of the animals, which I've come to enjoy. I hated it at first, but now it smells like
smells like rodeo.
It smells like nature to me. It smells like a rodeo. It smells like something's about to happen.
Yeah.
It's just like going to the car race. The smell of the rubber, the smell of the gas. It's action. It's something about that space that's really enjoyable. And then you go into the arena and you see these athletes. At a lot of these black rodeos, the athletes are taking these sports really seriously, but they're not necessarily there to make a lot of money or necessarily there to even win. A lot of them are there to gather and to show their skills off and to show what they can do. Of course they want to win. Of course they want to do the best, but really they're there to show off and show out in front of the audience and the other athletes. So, at our rodeo, Darian Chavez, a Bronco rider, got on his Bronco and he rode 8 seconds. His hat fell off while he was riding, and his dreadlocks were just blowing behind him, and the audience was going completely nuts. To see this black man with black hair doing something that they never associated with black culture. And then after he got his 8 seconds, he climbed on the fence and did a backflip off of it, and the crowd was just at an 11. They were going completely nuts.
That's the black thing. Whenever we show up for anything, we bring our culture with us, and we do it in our own unique way, as only black people can. That part I do get. The book is called 8 Seconds. 8 Seconds, Black Rodeo Culture. The author of that book has been our guest on this program. Ivan McClellan is his name. Once again, he honors the rich tapestry of black rodeo culture in his book, 8 Seconds, Black Rodeo Culture. Congrats, Ivan, on the book and all your other undertakings. Good to have you on this program, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, and happy trails to you, Tavis.
Happy trails to you. I like that. More when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Ray Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Vice President Kamala Harris is set to formally accept the Democratic Party's nomination at the convention, which will kick off in Chicago, Illinois, August 19th. Democratic National Convention speakers include President Biden, President Obama, President Clinton, and Hillary Clinton. Former President Jimmy Carter's grandson, Jason Carter, is also confirmed to be speaking as a representative of his grandfather. Last week, it was Debbie, crossing over a half dozen states, leaving flooding and destruction. This week, it could be Ernesto. The Paris Games were the first to have an equal number of men and women competing. If the American women had their own nation, they would have won the third most medals. And that's the latest. I'm Ray Harris on your home for 24/7 news. The Black Information Network at BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 in my garage after I overpaid for new blinds. I researched the industry, hired my mom, and 14 years later, we're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
During their back-to-school event, learn how Dell Technologies is helping underserved communities around the world.
Make a difference with Dell and shop AI-ready PCs powered by Snapdragon X Series processors at Dell.com/deals.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The countdown has started for LA 28. In 1,432 days, the Summer Olympics will kick off in Los Angeles on July 14, 2028. LA Mayor Karen Bass was in Paris Sunday to participate in the closing ceremonies for the 2024 Summer Olympics. During the ceremonies, Bass was on stage inside Stade de France Stadium to accept the Olympic flag from Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo Alou. The U.S. national anthem was played 40 times during the Olympics, a ritual in honor of 40 gold medals won by American teams and athletes. The U.S. and China tied with 40 gold medals, but the U.S. led all nations in total medals with 126. The final medal won by the U.S. was the women's basketball team, which defeated France Sunday for the gold. 8 straight gold medals for the U.S. Olympic women's basketball program and 61 consecutive Olympic wins. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We must understand the politics of our community, and we must know what part politics play in our lives.
Questions about black voters, their disengagement, lack of information, and support or lack thereof for Democratic candidates have once again taken center stage as Democrats, Republicans, and independent candidates compete for this critical voting bloc. Will black voters abandon Democrats in this election, move historic numbers of votes toward the Republican nominee, or will they continue a decades-long trend of overperforming for Democratic candidates up and down the ballot? The stakes have never been higher for Black America. Tune in to KBLA's new show, The Black Pack, hosted by veteran political strategist Adrian Shropshire, every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. for a breakdown of the issues, rhetoric, polling, and more this election year. It's The Black Pack with Adrian Shropshire, Fridays from 4 to 6 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
This ain't Texas, ain't no hold'em. So lay your cards down, 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 down. So park your Lexus and throw your keys up. Stick around, round, 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 round. Stick around. And I'll be damned if I can't slow dance with you. Come pour some sugar on me, honey, too. It's a real live boogie and a real live hold down. Don't be a come take it to the floor now. Woo! There's a tornado.
I'm Tavis Smiley, and that is Beyonce Carter, Mrs. Carter. Of course, you already know that. We are playing a little bit of Beyonce in part because Beyonce just made a huge gift, contribution to the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. And I am pleased to have the CEO and producer of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo on this program, Valeria Howard Cunningham. I wanted you to meet, and you will in just a second here, the woman revitalizing the world's only touring black rodeo. As I mentioned to you at the top of the show today, an hour and a half ago, we were going to spend the second hour of today's program talking about the Wild Wild West, about black cowboys and black cowgirls, and we just spent 30 minutes talking with Ivan McClellan, amazing photojournalist, about his book, 8 Seconds, Black Rodeo Culture. And now, again, as promised, I am pleased to bring you the sister who runs the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo, Valeria Howard Cunningham. Valeria, how are you today?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well. If I complained, I'd be an ingrate. So I'm doing quite well, and I'm delighted to speak with you. Before I get into our conversation about why and how a sister is running the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo and doing an amazing job at it, tell me about this gift that Beyonce just shared with your team.
Yes. We have a foundation, the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo Foundation, and what we do is try to identify organizations across the country that are focused on equestrian, agriculture, and so Beyonce's foundation, Be Good, has a similar mission to ours. And so we have connected, and we are working together to identify those organizations across the United States that are very vital to our community and giving back to our community. So we are feel very blessed that Be Good wanted to partner with us to lift up other organizations in the United States.
Yeah, a $500,000 contribution. That ain't chump change. So I'm glad that Beyonce's Be Good Foundation is connected to the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo, and I know y'all can do some great work together with those resources. For those who don't know about the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo, let me just let you do what you do so well. For starters, tell me about the Bill Pickett Invitation.
It's a long story, so if I get too long, just cut me off. But the founder, my deceased husband, founded the rodeo back in 1984. He went to a rodeo in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and what he noticed while he was sitting there watching the rodeo is that he didn't see anybody that looked like him. So he came back and did tons of research, reached out and found out that there were thousands of black cowboys and cowgirls all across the United States. But at the time, they were not allowed to participate in certain rodeo associations. They were not given the opportunity to participate in larger venues. So he said, you know what? I am going to create a rodeo association that will highlight these black cowboys and cowgirls and teach people within the United States about the role of the black cowboy and cowgirl in the development of the West, and that there exists real black cowboys and cowgirls. And so 40 years later, we are still telling that story. We've elevated black rodeo to another level, and it just makes me excited to see these black cowboys and cowgirls get the due and respect that they deserve.
Yeah. How did you process your husband, your now late great deceased husband? How did you process him coming home saying, "Honey, I went to a rodeo and I didn't see no black people, and we're gonna start one"? Like, how did you? I'm fascinated by the way it grabbed him. But what did you make of that?
Well, we were not together at that time when he did that.
Okay.
I actually met him in 1984 right before he was getting ready to do the first rodeo in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't know what a rodeo was. I was a city girl.
Yeah.
Rodeo, what is it? I had to go look it up. And so we started dating, and I started learning about rodeo, meeting these extremely nice, talented people that follow the rodeo, and realized that there's a whole different world out there, a whole different culture. And it was enlightening to me. So, I mean, I learned the business, and it's just been a blessing to me.
Take me for a couple minutes here. Take me inside that world. You said it's a whole different world, a whole different culture. Just take me in. You're a city girl. I'm a city guy. Take me inside that world.
Well, you have these incredible people who own ranches, own tons of horses. That's their livelihood. Mm-hmm. You know, they get up in the morning. You and I, we hop in our car and go off somewhere. These people get up. They go out and commune with their animals, take care of them, feed them, connect with them. And then once they've done that, they ride the horses, they get dressed and go to their jobs and then come back home and do the same thing. But that's their world. Mm-hmm. That's what they enjoy doing. And it's a different world from ours. Yeah. But when you see the passion that these people have in taking care of the animals, just riding, communing with nature, it's a different world, and then you wonder why they're so nice.
Yeah. You were starting to answer the question I have not asked, but when we come forward, I will pose it for you to respond to. And the question is, what can you just starting to answer? What can a city girl learn from country culture? What can a city guy like me learn from country culture? We'll talk about that and a great deal more about the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. It is the world's only touring black rodeo, and it's run by a sister named Valeria Howard Cunningham, who's our guest, and I'm glad about it right now on Tavis Smiley.
From Leimert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Welcome to Chicago.
A new chapter in black political history will soon be written in Chicago at the Democratic National Convention. KBLA Talk 1580 will be the only talk station in LA with 5 shows broadcasting live from the DNC in Chicago, August 19th through the 23rd. Dominic DePrima, Nicolai Corte, Ariva Martin, Adrian Shropshire, and Tavis Smiley will all be in Chicago bringing the convention to you like no other talk station in Southern California for the critical issues and conversations that matter most to you. Keep it locked to KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got Kamala covered.
now Martha Stewart for Skechers.
When I make a dish or embark on a craft project, I always use the finest, most fabulous ingredients and materials. Which is why, when it comes to footwear, I love Skechers. Because Skechers is the comfort technology company and uses the most luxurious, innovative materials and designs to make wondrously comfortable footwear with all the fits and features like Arch Fit and Skechers' world-famous air-cooled memory foam. It's exactly the way I'd make shoes.
Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Tavis is like George and Wheezy. He's moving on up. Last year, Tavis was number 45 on the Talkers magazine list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. Wait for it. Wait for it. The 2024 list was recently released, and Tavis has jumped to number 33 on the list of the nation's most important talkers, making him the highest-ranked African-American on the coveted roster. Congratulations to Tavis Smiley from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got you black. Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Let's get back to it with Valeria Howard Cunningham, who is the sister that has taken the reins, is revitalizing the world's only touring black rodeo. She's the CEO and producer of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo, and I'm honored to have her on this program in this hour as we've been talking about the Wild Wild West, black cowboy and black cowgirl culture, given that so many things have happened over this year that sort of put black cowboys and black cowboy girls and just cowboy culture in black back on the agenda. Not the least of which is Beyonce's massive album. In case you've just tuned in, Beyonce just gifted $500,000 to the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo to do some pretty amazing work, and so we're celebrating that as well. So Valeria, you started out by saying, Tavis, I'm a city girl, and you didn't know what a rodeo was. I found that funny, but it's real. So what can a city girl or a city guy like me learn from country culture?
Well, from my experience, I was amazed to see these cowboys and cowgirls. They come out and compete against each other. And I mean, it is a tough competition. They are competing. But at the same time they are competing, I noticed that they're helping each other. And it was just, I sat there and watched this. And then when you get outside of the rodeo, and as they are packing up their trailers, their horses, they're out there helping each other. They're getting plans together. Okay, are you following me down this road? Because they travel all over the United States, and that's tons of miles. But they travel together. They help each other. If somebody has a flat tire or a problem, they all stop. They're going to make sure their sister or brother is taken care of. And it was just a different world because, you and I live in the real world. And people don't do that. We compete and we want to tear each other down. But it was just this peace about them that they compete, but they lift each other and they embrace each other and they take care of each other. So that's one of the things that I've learned from them. The other thing is they're very focused on family. And that family can either be blood or not blood. Everybody in the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo is a family. Like I said before, they love each other. They take care of each other. If you do something to me, you're going to have to deal with a whole lot of people. That's just the culture that they've created. And it feels good to be in that world where people love each other and take care of each other.
Well, I am not trying to tussle with a bunch of black cowboys. I'm going to be good to speaking of Be Good Foundation, I'm going to be good to Valeria Howard Cunningham because you heard her say, you mess with me. You got a whole lot of folk you got to deal with. I don't want to deal with none of them. So I hope that they are appreciating this conversation and they take my nice demeanor and attitude toward her. I ain't trying to tussle again with a bunch of black cowboys. What I do want to do when we come forward in our remaining moments with Valeria Howard Cunningham is to give you a sense of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo touring schedule. As I mentioned, it's the world's only touring black rodeo, and I'm just curious as to what that touring schedule looks like year-round. We'll talk about that part before we lose her when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
Valeria Howard Cunningham, give me a sense of, just got about 4 minutes left here before I lose you at the top of the hour, 4 minutes. Give me a sense of what that Bill Pickett Invitational rodeo tour schedule looks like.
Well, our tour starts in January of each year. We're in Denver, Colorado at the National Western Stock Show. We have a residency program in Fort Worth. As a result of our partnership with the PBR, we do 4 shows there a year, February, May, June, and August. Mm-hmm. And then we have Memphis, Tennessee in April, Oakland, California in July, LA, California in July, Atlanta, Georgia in August, and then we end the season in Upper Marlboro, Washington, D.C. area with our national finals, which will be in September, where we crown our 2024 champions and just have a tough competition for those cowboys and cowgirls trying to get that championship buckle.
And yeah, you just sort of answered it now. What are they competing for in Maryland?
They're competing for a very large amount of money, saddles, buckles, and other prizes. We this year are giving away over $200,000, the first time our African American Rodeo Association has put up that type of money for any type of rodeo.
Yeah. And over the years of your meeting all these really, really nice people, have you developed, at least to your own mind, a sort of profile of the kinds of black men and black women who find this competition worthy of their time?
I tell people all the time these cowgirls are very special. They're beautiful. They're smart. They are just creative. They do a lot of different things, have a lot of different talents. And I would never allow anybody to call me a cowgirl because I can't live up to their standards. They are very unique individuals. And what they do with a zest and passion, and they teach their kids. So our future cowboys and cowgirls are a result of these young ladies training them, teaching them how to be cowboys. You know that story that says, mamas, don't let your kids grow up to be cowboys and cowgirls. Well, we change that and say, let your kids grow up to be cowboys and cowgirls.
No, I love it. I figured you were going there, and I love it. Her name is Valeria Howard Cunningham. She is the woman revitalizing at the helm of the world's only touring black rodeo. She's the CEO and producer of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. It is an aggressive schedule that they undertake every year as they move toward the end of the season with their finals competition in Maryland. So all the best to those who are competing in Maryland. Valeria Howard Cunningham, thank you for your work and your witness. Thank you for this conversation. I've appreciated it immensely, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you. Hey, Tavis, can I correct one thing?
Sure.
Our partnership with Baygood is, yes, they're awarding over $500,000.
Right.
We are providing that money to other nonprofit equestrian organizations throughout the United States.
No, you made that clear at the top. You made that clear that they're partnering with you, and you all are distributing that money to other people doing the great work. You made that clear from the very beginning, and it is clear once again. So I thank you for that clarification. Valeria Howard Cunningham, the CEO and producer of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. I love people who want to get things right. I respect that. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Ray Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A Ferguson, Missouri African-American police officer was critically injured outside of the city's police station during protest on the 10th anniversary of the fatal shooting of the African-American Michael Brown, a pivotal moment in the national Black Lives Matter movement.